Hello and welcome to the English Masterclass. In this session we're going to look at punctuation. So let's go. What is punctuation? In a normal day-to-day communication we use various methods to communicate with each other. Things like body language, hand gestures, facial expressions, speech, etc. Well, to mimic this in the written word we use punctuation. Punctuation can include capitals, question marks, full stops, exclamation marks, quotation marks, apostrophes, and much more. So let's have a look at sentences. This is where we first encounter punctuation. A sentence must always start with a capital letter. And there are other uses for capital letters. For example, proper nouns, the first letter of your name, James, John, Mary, etc. Days of the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Months of the year, January, February, March, April, but not the seasons. Abbreviations like Doctor, Mr. This is where you're bringing words in and shrinking them down. Holidays like Christmas, Boxing Day, Diwali, Eid. Company names like Tesco's and McDonald's. These are all capital letters that you can use. There are three ways to end a sentence. For example, full stop. I would like to complain about the services I received today. Full stop. Question mark. How can I help you, madam? Now, if you note here, the question must be direct. How can I help you, madam? Question mark. Exclamation mark. Now, an exclamation mark is used to show emotion. And in this example, what on earth are you doing? And you can see the exclamation marks lets the reader know that that is showing emotion. Let's have a look at commas. Commas can be used in the following ways. And you maybe remember from school you were taught as a natural pause. And this is true to the most point. Suddenly, there was movement. And you can see the use of the exclamation mark here to show emotion. Separate clauses in a sentence, and if you remember, if you look at the sentence structure, it will tell you what clauses mean. You have three types of sentences, and each sentence includes clauses. These are independent thoughts, ideas contained within a sentence. And here's an example. My name is Bill. I like to run. So you see it joins two clauses together. Highlight a person's name. My manager, Susan, entered and changed the system. Now if you notice with this one here, Susan, if you take that information out of the sentence, it still makes sense. My manager entered and changed the system. Because you're putting that little bit of extra information in for the reader, you must put commas on either side of it. My manager, Susan, entered and changed the system. Or you can use commas to create a list. I went shopping and bought apples, pears, oranges and bananas. This just shows a slight pause in the list. Let's have a look at apostrophes. This seems to get a lot of people stumped when they're doing apostrophes, but it's fairly simple if you think about it logically. There are two types, the omissive apostrophe and the possessive apostrophe. Let's have a look at the omissive apostrophe. This is where two words are broken down and put into one. We don't normally say things like it is, cannot, they are. We normally break them down in the spoken word, and this is just mimicking it in the written word. So if you look at the first example here, it is, we take out the I. Where we take the letter out of the two words, we insert the apostrophe. Cannot, take out the NO and insert the apostrophe. They are, take out the A and it becomes there. And that's how you can tell where you put the apostrophe. It's where you take the letters out. And here's a little tip. If you're not sure if apostrophe is required, extend them back out to the two words, and if it still makes sense, then the apostrophe is required. Next one is a possessive apostrophe. This type of apostrophe shows ownership. The apostrophe goes on the thing or the person that owns the object or thing. In this case, the pens, which is just plural, there's more than one pen, are owned by Bill, so they are Bill's pens. In the second example here, you can see the apostrophe is put in after the word soldiers. Now, rifles is just plural, and this means here, because the apostrophe is after it, that means that soldiers is plural. There is more than one soldier. This is very little used in modern English, but that is a proper use of the apostrophe when talking in the plural. Back to the singular again. This hat belongs to the policeman, therefore it's the policeman's hat. Remember, the apostrophe goes on the owner of the, not the thing being owned. There is other punctuation. Quotations, they're used when direct speech, like question marks, so you've got to be direct. Bill said, it's a great day. It's something that's actually said. And if another thing you have to remember with quotations is if you're using a quotation as part of a sentence, you must put the comma or the punctuation within the quotations. Or if you're ending a sentence with a quotation, you must put the comma, full stop, or exclamation mark inside the comma before you finish that sentence with the speech. Colons used as a pause to start a list or change direction in a speech. Semicolons, similar to colons, but just a slight shorter pause, so you can use it instead of a comma to create a list. What this means is when you the reader reads the list, it will be at a slower pace than a normal list. Brackets are used to highlight text and names. As back in the example there with Susan, instead of using quote marks, you could use brackets to add extra information to a sentence. Not so much used these days. Quotations are more used than brackets these days. And then hyphen, they're used to connect words, like semicolons, Smythe Jones, something like that. There's also some modern punctuation symbols which you can use, especially if you're being asked to create emails and stuff like that, or send internet communications. And these are things like forward slash, backslash, hashtag, star, underscore, at. As I say, most can be found on any PC keyboard and used in emails, letters, etc. That's the basics in punctuation. I hope that helped. Thank you.